Psychology as a Social Skill. An Introduction to the Importance of Psychology, Part 1. Welcome. Psychology was created by studying people for the sole purpose of explaining their behavior and what causes it. It's designed for the people, by the people. Psychology serves one purpose only: to help people understand each other better. Unfortunately, psychology has been misunderstood for generations. It has become somewhat more popular in recent years, but even so, it fails to integrate itself into our lives. Maybe because it is viewed as a science rather than a social skill? First things first, what is science? The definition is pretty clear. It is gathered knowledge by studying the world through experiments and observations. When people think of the word science, they see someone in a white lab coat, surrounded by vials of colorful liquids and explosions, right? Probably so. That's the standard-ish image. Psychology does fall under the scientific umbrella, because it does gather knowledge based on observations and experiments. So, it doesn't seem unreasonable to think of psychology as a science. But that is exactly the main issue. Science sounds like something to be carefully studied. So, when thinking of psychology as a science, it does sound like something more difficult than it really is. Of course, there is such a thing called popular psychology, which can be an article in a magazine or a blog post. YouTube is filled with videos on psychology as well. The idea behind it is to simplify the understanding of psychology by making it fun, hip, and interesting. The problem with that, it kinda downgrades the understanding of psychology. People become skeptical of its validity, and an eye roll usually follows that. But what if we were to employ psychology in our everyday lives as a social skill? Now, the definition for social skills is relatively vague, but for the sake of the argument, think of things like taking out the trash or doing the dishes as a social skill. Those things are fairly easy to do, right? Exactly the point here. If we were to take psychology and turn it into that type of a social skill, then it wouldn't seem so difficult now, would it? Some of you might want to ask, why would you do that? What's the purpose here? Elementary, the purpose here is to make psychology into something simple and accessible that can help people build better relationships with one another by understanding each other better. After all, that is the essence of psychology. Isn't it because of misunderstandings and miscommunication that most of our daily problems stem from? The trick here is not to diminish the value of psychology, but rather to make it more user-friendly. By doing so, people would be able to implement psychology easier into their lives and benefit from it, without having to undergo years of studies. To be honest, psychology is not as difficult to figure out as some people might think. It's enough to apply basic principles of it to achieve satisfying results. No need for tricks and hacks. Everything falls down to wanting to put in the effort to understand. Once people can understand something, they are able to explain it better too, causing a ripple effect. Not convinced yet? Wait for it. Now then, every action, the present, has a reason, the past. And every action, the present, has a reaction, the future. Psychology helps to identify those factors. It helps to understand the action, the present, by locating and analyzing the reason, the past. And based on that information, it determines the outcome, which is the reaction, the future. Psychology is built to help people communicate with each other by understanding how the other person thinks. Once we get the basic idea for that, we can better understand where the person is coming from. And we can then better voice our own ideas, which will be understood the way they were intended to be in the first place, minimizing the risk of being misunderstood. Thinking this sounds kind of like manipulation? Not at all. Manipulation, by its nature, is meant to be a one-way street where only the user of it gains something. Psychology is not that. Psychology is a team effort. Even if one side uses it, that does not mean it will have the results intended, especially if the other side lacks the understanding of it. How can we save money on energy by turning all the lights off. If someone else keeps turning them back on, it's kind of the same way here. To be able to understand something, there are two ways to do it. 1, learn it. Or 2, be able to listen. Sometimes people are unable to understand something because they never experienced it personally. They understand knowledge the same as experience. Something like, if I can't see it, it does not exist. Or, what do you know about it if you've never done it? Sound familiar? Probably so. See, the beauty of psychology is that it does not require to live through something to be able to understand it. Through observation and analysis alone, psychology is able to listen and understand what kind of people are capable of it and which are not. Why is that, and how to tell them apart, can be found in the post, The Ugly Side of Psychology. What nobody said that psychology is all roses and rainbows. As brilliant as it is, it does have its cons too. The purpose of this vlog is to keep things real. Addressing the dark side of the moon is part of it. Curious? This is only the beginning. You'll be able to see the power of psychology with each new post. You have reached the end of the post. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more and remember, mental health is important too. Take care.